Welcome into our Countdown to First Serve interview series. Today I'm visiting with Arkansas-Monticello head coach. This is Jocelyn Garcia, and she is in her second season as the head coach there in Monticello. Let's first just begin, Coach, by asking you the same question I have asked everybody else. What did you do to fill all of your time during 2020 after about mid-March?
Mid-March. Okay, yes. So I can actually, the date that everything shut down for us was March 12th. And to fill up our time, one, it was a struggle. We had to start working remotely. How do you do that as a coach? We were in our off season. It had just come as a shock a little bit. And we had to send our girls home, wanted to get them all situated, make sure that they were able to get on flights or routes with other girls going their same way. I myself as well went home visited Nebraska. My mother lives there. And so I worked remotely from Nebraska for a couple months. Nothing was normal as far as what I filled my time with and what we filled our time with is just staying in contact as much as we can with each other or could with each other. And that's where Zoom really kicked off. We had some of our Zoom just upkeep meetings. How's everyone doing? Our girls got really creative on workouts. They wanted to get between one another, would send fun videos. TikTok was a huge thing. So TikToks ended up being a little bit of the hype at the time, and our girls put a few together. And then myself, I taught myself how to Photoshop, so that was fun. I took just it upon myself to not have to hassle our SID as much as I usually do. And he taught me quite a lot while he was here. And so that was something that took up a lot of my time. It was a lot of fun. And then recruiting from a just video standpoint, there wasn't anything going on with seasons. So it was a lot of phone calls with recruits, a lot of film tape that was watched, just kind of going back and forth with that. But it was different for sure.
So I taught myself Adobe Premiere, and you taught yourself Photoshop. We might have something we can work on.
Yeah.
A photo project. I don't know. So was there anything normal? I know you kind of already said there wasn't, but let's fast forward a little bit to August, September, as players are back on campus, school is going again. What were you able to do that was somewhat normal?
Yeah, so we actually were able to start practices when GAC allowed us to with certain dates, but our girls, we kind of allowed that all together. We started with small groups just to be safe, distance a little bit, and then went full team, and we did everything with masks. So that was obviously the big change, I think, for the girls alone, and having to adjust to maybe walking up the court, getting that little bit of a breather. But practices kind of went just normal, back to just being together. And we obviously tried as much as we could, and we succeeded in it. We did not really run into any issues. We had exposures of quarantining, but did not have any who had tested positive during our time. So we were really lucky with that. The 2-week quarantine wasn't fun for the girls, but it was necessary. And luckily, again, they just were exposed. They didn't end up testing positive at all. And then it was our basic off season. Everything was just flipped. So what was normal in our spring, it was normal in our fall. Just everything was our off season in the fall, and more time to prep, I guess, than anything for now spring season.
Yeah. So let's talk about your coaching staff, you, and of course, your graduate assistant, Macy Mitchell, played there at UAM. So I know you're excited to have her joining you on your coaching staff. Tell us about her.
Yes. So unfortunately, Macy actually graduated in December with her master's. So she did serve as our graduate assistant this last fall semester. She was really bummed that she wasn't able to have a season to coach the girls.
Yeah.
She was really looking forward to it. And, spring with that shutting down, it was odd. And she got about half of the time with the girls when she was just getting the hang of things. And then fall, we're getting into it. And then kind of same deal as far as pushing back what our regular season would have looked like. So unfortunately, she will not be on staff. She'll volunteer some of her time because she is around Monticello, which we're excited for, just because she meshed so well with the girls and she did a lot of great things during her time here as our graduate assistant. But she's actually subbing in the area, and she'll just be there to help us when she's available right now.
Okay. Yeah. So just one of those challenges you'll have to deal with, a story to tell later on down the road, perhaps.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, she'll be volunteering and be around for the field a little bit.
Okay. Let's talk about some of those current players then. Some of your returning players first, and then we'll mention the new players. But who are some of the returning players that you just can't wait to get back out on the court and see what they can do this year?
I honestly cannot point out a single one. We have 9 returners. So while it seems like a lot, we also brought in 6 newcomers. But the returners, we have a completely I think, new team that's going to be introduced to the court. We had our 5 graduates who were all starters. So all of those returning players that had that opportunity to really build did that with this last spring semester. So every single one of them has really put in just a lot of work. And a couple of our sophomores now, they're probably going to see the court. They've done really well and really built off of this last semester. And then I would say our outstanding one to this time is Taylor Calhoun. She's one of our captains. She's one of our kind of leaders on the court. She's really taken that. And then Katie Pearson, our setter. Those 2 have really taken on those leadership roles with those 5 graduates leaving previously. And I think they'll be really, really just all around as far as their skill set, their motivation towards their teammates, their positive attitudes. Those 2 bring just a lot to the table, especially offensively. And then defensively, we have returner DS Caitlin Richburg. She goes by KK though. And she actually, she was a DS last year, and she's working towards that libero role. And she's really trying and pushing herself and past limits that she definitely has surpassed since her sophomore year. So those I would say the standouts for now. But again, every single one of them really worked hard to get in a higher role this upcoming season.
So besides TikTok dances, because other coaches, even though yours is going to be the first that airs, I think, or one of the first, I've talked to a few others. They've also told me that they're going to maybe miss the dancing on the bus, those things, but what has your team learned through this? Again, besides learning some maybe better dance moves, how are they going to grow through this situation and this pandemic that we're in?
Honestly, I think we just as a team, we look at everything in the most positive way that we can. And I think overall relationships they've realized are really important, not just from a team standpoint, but just in their social lives. And we as a coaching staff have really kind of talked to them quite a bit on making sure that any type of, with family, us together, coaches, professors, advisors, we've really made sure that they continue to stay in contact the best that they could. And I think communication wise and staying on top of things, time management, things that are all going to kind of further themselves down their careers post volleyball, things like that. So as much as I think we will all wish COVID was not here and it took away a lot. I think it still benefited us quite a bit from that standpoint. And again, just the time being able to better yourself as a person, player, things like that.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on my back porch, not doing much. So I wasted a lot of time. I probably really did. All these people learning all these new things, but Coach, you start the season January 26th, and you're going to be at Harding, so that's pretty tough right out of the gate there. Yeah. What's that day going to be like, and what are your expectations for the team that opening match?
Harding's our kryptonite. I'm going to be honest. For some reason, we always talk about it, and it's nothing that that we shy away from. We see Harding as just amazing competitors, and Meredith has done great things there. So the girls are honestly excited, if not, kind of what better team to start out with. So if anything, I know they're just going to they get here tomorrow for preseason beginning. So I know as soon as we kind of get back into things and what we're going to be managing and what to expect, they're going to be more than excited to be able to just show out on their first match, especially. But for what it's going to look like, we have this next week of our classes began on January 13th. And so this first week is going to be just all volleyball as much as we can until we get into our regular class schedules. And then we'll be able to kind of be more flexible, collaborate more with professors, things like that. But day of, we're just going to do our normal travel routine. We're going to be taking buses, and like you said, kind of bus dances are going to be back, and they're going to be excited for that. Distance, of course, we'll make sure that they're as distant as they can be on a bus. But I'm sure they're looking forward just to having that normal fun game day and that hype of being able to just go out and show out on the court.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I'm glad we turned the page into 2021 here. Coach, thank you so much for the time. Coach Garcia at Arkansas-Monticello, and I want to wish you best of luck this year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.